This is Tank's Vlog for October 18th, 2017. Wrapping up today in sports. Today's big story: American League Championship Series tied 2 games apiece. Game 5, Yankee Stadium, and the Astros had Yankee killer Dallas Keuchel on the mound against Masahiro Tanaka. Rematch of Game 1, won by the Astros 2-1. This time, things were different. It was Tanaka who had the Astros tied up in knots. He sliced and diced through the Astros lineup like a samurai, pitching beautifully. Allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings, striking out 8. Meanwhile, the Yankees got to Keuchel. Big double by Starlin Castro, 2 outs, came along to score on a Greg Bird single. Next inning, it was Aaron Judge delivering a RBI double. Yankees would add 2 more runs in the 5th and a Gary Sanchez homer in the 7th. And all of a sudden, Dallas Keuchel had a loss. His invincibility cloak had been torn and tattered, and the Yankees have a 3-2 series lead. Now, the home team has won every game in this series, so I don't think it's over by a long shot. The Astros have Justin Verlander going in Game 6. Verlander tied the Yankees up in knots in Game 2. The Yankees will be countering Luis Severino. But the Yankees just have to find a way to win 1 in Houston. And right, the Yankees are going right now. Who's going to doubt them? Who's going to doubt them? This young team that wasn't supposed to be good for another year or 2 is now just 1 game away from the World Series. Meanwhile, in the National League today, the Chicago Cubs decided to show some pride. Jake Arrieta, nice start, and 2 home runs by Javier Baez. And then Wade Davis gutted out a 2-inning save, and the Cubs still have a beating heart, now down just 3-1. Dodgers, though, still have the big advantage. They could close out the series with just 1 more win, and tomorrow they'll have Clayton Kershaw on the mound, looking to close it out at Wrigley Field. So, the Dodgers still hold all the cards, but the Cubs at least could hold their head up high and say they were not swept. Finally got my NBA preview up. Naturally, I'm picking the same final it's been the last couple of years because the Celtics have lost Gordon Hayward. Now, the Celtics have a lot of resources to make a trade, but you can't pick trades. You can't predict a trade right now. If they're able to make a big deal, like land Anthony Davis, that's a game changer. But with the injury of Gordon Hayward, I just don't think the Celtics are good enough to beat the Cavs. And they say 6 months. That's optimistic. Look what happened to his leg. It got dislocated, broken. He's not playing this year again. And it's just terrible. Gordon Hayward had some words of encouragement for his teammates and the Celtic fans today in their home opener, which they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks 108-100. It's going to be a while before the Celtics get going, I'm afraid, because you just don't lose a player that caliber and get over it. Meanwhile, one of the things that I've done in my picks this year is I have a little bit of hope for the Nets turning things around. I mean, they play pretty competitive when Jeremy Lin is on the court. And if Jeremy Lin stays healthy the whole season, maybe they'll be competitive. And never mind, he got injured in the first game. Hopeless. Oh, so hopeless. My team don't stand a chance. We might win less than 20. And we don't have the draft pick. Hopeless. Oh, so hopeless. I won't be watching a lot of basketball. Another season down the drain. Oh, so hopeless. Of course, any picks I do this year are sponsored by MyBookieAG, so get on in on the action at MyBookieAG. Speaking of picks, I've got the NFL Week 7 up. It's Thursday tomorrow, or morning when you're watching this. It's already Thursday. And I'm taking the Raiders. They need to win. They've lost 4 straight. A loss here will almost certainly put their playoff hopes in a bind. They got Derek Carr back Sunday. He didn't play that well Sunday, but I think he has a good game in prime time. And besides, on Barstool Van Talk, the Rat picked the Raiders. Who's going to argue with a rat on Barstool Van Talk? I'm not. Speaking of which, also recently published is my latest podcast, Allow Me to Be Frank. Check it out on iTunes. Check it out on SoundCloud. And check out the Twitter page. This is something I've been starting last month with Too Much Tuma. I think we're starting to really hit our groove. We do this once a week, so check it out. Hockey tonight. Light night, none of the locals in action. Blues beat the Blackhawks behind a hat trick from Jaden Schwartz. Today's 3 stars are Masahiro Tanaka, who got the win for the Yankees and has put the Astros backs against the wall. Second star is the aforementioned Jaden Schwartz with his hat trick against the Blackhawks. And Javier Baez, who had 2 home runs and leading the Cubs to a Game 4 win over the Dodgers. Today's birthday shout-out goes to the real deal Evander Holyfield, who turns 55. And we take a look back at Barstool Sports at the first NHL player to score 500 goals, Maurice Richard, the Rocket Man, who scored 500 goals in 1957, reached a milestone. At the time, nobody had 400 goals besides him. So check out the story of Barstool Sports and its Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. Good day.